Yo, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Yeah, by the way, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the white dress.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So behold.
There's something poetic about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, man. Let's get into it. My name is Yakim Mavlagvaliu. I am the master builder. Welcome to the conversations that we're having with the one and only, the beautiful dark chocolate. Poetic soul.
Poetic soul. The mother, the sister. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why everyone is calling you mama.
Yes. I remember you asking me that day, when did it begin?
No, for me, I always love to know whatever you're saying. I'm like, okay, so I'm obsessed with the Genesis.
The thing is, I refer to everyone feminine as mama, even a young girl or now 2 months says, hello mama. So it just stick with me. And as I move in the space, because I'm growing older, but I mingle in younger spaces, and I keep referring to these young girls as mama and doni. It just stuck with me, and then I met a lot of people, man, young mama, young mother, young doni. So it just moves with me, and I accept it as you know, gracefully. I accept it, but yeah, the mama, you know what I mean? Feels nice. Then I feel like mama.
I think that's the power of ukusebenzisa amagama ngendlela is positive. If you refer to people and phrases, you know, and you give them amagama positive, you know, because ultimately igama ulisebenzisa kakhulu in referring to other people, it sticks, it becomes your identity.
Yeah, I mean, my dad and I used to refer to each other as Sisi no Put. Hello, Put. Mola
Strange.
And you would think it's in the way, but that's just how we were. Do you know what I mean? In Donayam, doing all those things, but mainly it was always hi, write write some. Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
A fountain of
yes.
Hey man, you know, as beautiful as how this year is starting, but there are underlying factors that if we do not check, I think they are to cripple, you know, the country. It will ravage the country in a way that's unimaginable. You know, we've read history of other African states post-independence, where people fight amongst themselves. Sankara being a prime example, that someone that they were fighting with, shoulder to shoulder, became the one that ultimately orchestrates
a downfall.
In Burkina Faso. So I think if we do not check,
I like how you say Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso.
Trying to be African about it. You know?
Hey, Burkina Faso, yo. Burkina Faso.
Yeah, well, so, you know, you look at these things and you're like, hey, man, it's as if Tinasi, I don't know, we're not referencing the history because the struggles of people across the world are intertwined. As people of color, as Africans, our struggle is the same. So I think South Africa, if we do not check and raise a level of leadership and accountability, we are slowly getting there, you know. I don't
raising levels of leadership and accountability.
I don't think it can ever be
late,
you know. If we're gonna look at it from a human spirit,
I'm becoming a bit despondent.
Look at it at the human spirit that, you know, umpia change told us. And also biologically we understand that the genes or the cells within a person, they renew themselves, they renew every 8 hours. So biologically you become a new person in every 8 hours.
Every 8 hours?
Yeah, in every 8 hours you become a
guys, I'll set the alarm.
And celebrate.
My name, but every 8 hours, like, yes, something new is happening. I'm becoming.
Yeah, you know, so we are in that constant state of of becoming. But South Africa is worrying because I think the mishaps is that could be, could be averted. There's this thing of Matric results.
Eziphumelate.
Like, okoko South Africa yabakhona kutheni ziphumelate ngoku?
I don't know. Iwariam kulando is that kuzawuvula ii-varsities ngoku. Ziyaqala mos ii-varsities ufunda ngoFeb, yaqala i-academic year and whatnot. I wonder bangapha abantwana abasokolileyo ufumana isikolo because babethwa lixesha ii-results aboziphumelate. Moreover, ziyeke ii-varsities. Masijonge ii-TVET colleges ezizivule before kuphume eza results. Yayibona laa nto ithini le nto ikhona apho kukho uqhawuka konxibelelwano between these two systems, that is basic education, lo funeka ekhuphe results athumela abantwana kwii-TVETs nakwi-varsities, and higher education lo ureceive abantwana from the system endimention. Yintoni libangela uba uvule i-TVET colleges zingekaphumi results?
You know, it's like everyone is moving in silos. Like, omnye uzenzela into yakhe, because at the end of the day, when we look at the Department of Education, whether it's basic or it's further education and training, we look at it as one uniform thing.
Sure.
But with how things happened this year, it shows us in there's a discord.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who are moving all hlobo, because in terms of planning everything, we should be able to sit in one space and be able to plan sonke indoba wena ke funeke ngemini ethile results ze Matric uzikhuphile abantwana bazifumene izinto zikubo ezandleni.
Yeah.
Then Tina, after you announce that results yaphuma on a Friday, Tina, we are saying indoba on Monday or a Wednesday of the following week, we are opening so that kids can take as a results and come bazo apply for further education and training.
Yeah.
That's
do you know what the cause was for the delay,
because we don't know what's happening beyond the veil, you know, because they're not as transparent. Because you must understand, every time that our leaders come to us, they come to announce, they come to tell us.
We are so sitrainiwe kula way family meeting, ne?
Yes.
And siyachazelo.
It's the government of the people, by the people. But there are few and separate things as years discussed by the collective for them to be approved. Even naxa zisenziwa, people are discouraged because, look, you are in a country that has a crisis of unemployment. Like apha Ephondweni for now, half of the people abahlala apha Ephondweni are unemployed. If sinabantu abayi-100, 50 yabo. You know, there are households where there's not even a single person with income. You have households that are child-headed. You have households as pilange grants and all these things. So that's, you know, crisis on top of crisis. So when you say to me, there is a public meeting where we are going to be discussing a land issue, for an example, whatever other issue, or GBV, or whatever other pressing issue that I, as a citizen, should be attending. But ndifumene this job uba mandivase impahla phaa zikaZoms. Yabo? I'm gonna go and do that instead of going and contribute, even though I might have ideas as a right that would assist in society. So that is why you have the same old people who come in front of the television screen and talk and tell us. But now, sizawuthi xa sibuyela kwi-question yakho uba what transpired? Why are we here? Why did we find ourselves in a space where ziyavula i-TVET and then Matric results azikafumaneki? It's because there is no communication. That's what it says. If bebencokolile, think this stuff again?
Man. And nokuncokola kwabo would have led to ukumana kwabo. Yabona lanto ba masingathi sifike ku point where basic education uvele ngembondo etyholweni.
Yes.
The situation masizama umprotector and delay certain things kwelicala so that naye alungise izinto zakhe eziwe zizodibana at some point.
Uvele ngembondo ezineqhoshana. Like it's come on.
And yazi ndikumamele nje ngibuthetha and I'm thinking, hey man sisengxakini because ndigqibele sithetha nge-education ne-matric results.
Yes.
Ndabona ngathi sesithetha nge-unemployment. Uyayibona laa nto? Ndabona ngathi sesithetha just get despondency yethu politically in e-governance of the country. And I'm realizing uthetha nange-land issue within yonke laa nto buthetha and I'm thinking GBV like zininzi into ezimentioneleyo nje kuspace esincinci and I'm realizing damn we are in trouble.
We need to address these things, and I think young people must play a very vital role because what we need to understand that any revolution or change, let me not use the word revolution because it might scare people. Change, any radical change is always brought forth by young people. When Mandela was going to Rivonia trial and whatnot, they were young people.
Yeah.
When Ubantu Biko Ape Kader was killed by those white people.
He was what, 29, 30?
He was 33.
33.
He passed on when he was only 33 years old. So you look at the movement. I understand. Because what age does at the same time, it mellows you down. You know, you understand a lot of things.
33, sorry. In my head, I'm calculating he was 33. That's the Jesus age, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Ndiyayibala ngokuthetha. Uxolo ngokuphazamisa. Ndiyayibala ba. Hayi man, unguJesus.
uJesus omnyama. Abe uJesus omnyama. Yeah, so that's how iconic the man is, you know. So the age is something else. Age, because when you reach a certain age, you have gotten so many disappointments. There are so many plans that you had that did not materialize, and it dampens your spirit and that fire of being youth and looking at life and just seeing possibilities. You know, you've been dealt with so many things as a good tibaza spirit, such that you don't approach things the same way. So that's why we need younger people to occupy key positions so that they become a think tank. I think also what we failed at, I think we should have had something, an independent body that we would call maybe a black people or black think tank.
Yeah.
You know, people that are going to have ideas and implement ideas. Because if we are at this space and we have a crisis here, load shedding, we cannot have a load shedding when we, each and every year, we are producing graduates as the electricians, as the scientists, and so forth.
Economists as
yes, you know, and all of that. People who are not projecting
I don't think
future
I don't think load shedding is really a scientific issue. Michael Jackson uzawufika ngomso Michael Jackson fika ngomso I always do that xa kumbukana ehlaza endlela just change but hey uMandela uyakhumbula ngoku sanofona yes. So like my thing is I don't think it's even a scientific issue in load shedding. It's really just a financial management issue.
Yeah, and also just foresight, man.
Yes, planning issue, logistic issue. Nansi lanto sisikuyo and iyandi frustrator on a real human level. Iyandi frustrator because, for instance, we've made the decision. We had one conversation. We decided, okay, let's carry on with these conversations. How nice would it have been to actually let people know that at 3:00 in the afternoon, every Friday, we will be live. Having
you can't do that in
we
South
can't
Africa.
do that. Ngo-2 umbane ungamka as we're about to start shooting ngo-3 minutes uzawubuya ngo-4. Ungahamba ngo-4 in the middle of a laugh, in the middle of a sentence, as we're doing a live. So it brings so many challenges to how we do what we love to do.
Yes.
It causes is an anxiety. Man, I remember the other day I went to record studio Skakosh and siyafika kanye xa sifika kusanda bakhe load shedding. And we're discussing this thing and he says, hey man, it is anxiety because you never know. You almost, if you don't follow the nalo app that sometimes nayo ingahlali kwela xesha bithe umbane uzamka ngayo, if you don't follow such things, you live your life in 2-hour segments. Unalani ba omkanga ngo-6. Okay, let me quickly rush Denzel away. My computer ngo-8.
I've gotten that so many times at the SABC on top there before they connected everything. In the middle of an edit, bro. I'm editing something and then umgile umbane uzawubuya 2 hours later and I'll be on air at that time.
Yeah.
Funeka ndibe on air. So la edit bendiyenza manibona ba manithini.
Yeah.
Either mandingabi sayenza or yabo.
So I mean, on the one hand, it has forced us to really step up in terms of our planning, right? Before time and be aware that anything could happen. We're getting to that stage. Sonke as ordinary people, we behave like event planners. We have to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. J, but on the other hand, there are, lockdown, guys. Kwafuneka abanye abantu behle emisebenzini bayekiswe and baqalisa small businesses.
Yes.
And aska breathe enough from izinto ze lockdown. See, kule load shedding eyenzeka every single day now. It's becoming normalized to the point where I am, listening out to hear about guys, ithini into ye-generator, ndisanoba nge-inverter, kubusy, but I'm thinking we cannot continue to live like this. Kumoshakala izinto. I-TV vele icima iyankonka.
Yes, because ivela that power xa ibuya kakhulu.
Yeah, so ziqalisa unkonka i-TV, i-fridge ziyageza. It's just a lot. And you listen to istori somntu othengisa ikota. And how they can't keep stock esininzi and how that compromises their business because can you mean xa kuphela inyanga abantu bazabe baleka but at the same time akakwazi ugcina stock esininzi because izawumoshakala efrijini. Yabona lana, it's scary into eyenzayo to ipokotho zabantu.
In a country with high unemployment rate, you want people to be innovative. You want people to be entrepreneurial. And you want to support that. And there's a wave that's so dope on social media where people like support black businesses, and they have different groups, the brownies and whatnot, where they just acquire services from black individuals and whatnot. I support that. I love that.
Oh, buy black.
But when we are unable to produce, you have load shedding now. You say, hey, people, uzenzela. Okay, it's cool. Siyavuka ke, siyazenzela. But asikwazi ukwenza because mna ndiyawelda and anayo imali othenga gas and all of those things. Then what must happen to my business? How many businesses have closed? There was another Joburg restaurant that was coming out. It was alternative. I think they were staging also live performance. And whatnot. And they said, we saw that the business is not sustainable. Shout out to the patrons and whatnot, but we are deciding to call it quits. Think about the people who were employed there. Their livelihood was taken away forcibly. And then you think about the investors, people who invested, gone. They lost. They tried to open Shisa somewhere in Motherwell. They had dope comedy nights. Thursdays, I think every second week, they were having comedy nights. They closed. because a business becomes erratic. You trade now, you're playing music or you're hosting performers to come and perform, but then it's going to be load shedding. So what must happen?
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, the options generator and because then can I one room I think twice. I'm over the festive season, and it was performance Zolani Mawala, and then the performance got close in job. And in both instances, we were cutting it close to load shedding. Fortunately, they've got a generator there. So I remember, the owner had to come on stage while the performer is on and say, "Tell us and change over to a generator." And then gonna be a cut and the momentum you performer as well. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I mean I love it. Kudos to Noma Komaze for having a generator because there are bigger venues that don't have such. But I'm just saying, in momentum.
Yeah, it kills it.
Yeah, killer. The experience your load shedding and also having a generator, it means it costs us yenyuka. You understand? Because you have to maintain that thing. If I could petrol, if I could battery, I don't even know how they work anymore.
And also, and these people recently, what's this? Is it NASA announcing electricity hike 18.3%
higher.
Why are you selling something we don't have?
In Orlando, 100 rand in Orlando, 100 rand like 44 units at present.
Is it 44 or 37? 100
rand. Kaloku mhlambi xa unyukile nge-18% izawufika kwazo 30 rand.
37 units.
I mean, kuphi apha, guys?
Remember the 4th of December, attending battle, and then
load shedding. I-battle yayenzeka kwi-load shedding, ne? Phones. Eventually wabuya. But we were trying to find alternative ways of making sure that we continue with this thing.
It's crazy. And then you see videos of truckloads
of coal.
They're moving with coal. Where are they taking it? We have a crisis and we're saying we're using coal to generate. And then you hear that people, what was the story?
What is happening? Are we going now? Apple since and yes.
They're selling it. And then there was a story some 2 weeks back or something, where this company is being charged by Eskom because itumele amalahle angangomalahle. Now you're thinking, quality check, any receiving department, you open up, check bangabana iyo le into, you should have a test.
But didn't the same thing happen with the vaccines? Didn't the same thing happen?
Zafika says expiry is.
Okay.
So I think in the main, as much as this load shedding crisis is bringing so many other, crises, if there's such a word. Okay. Isinikeza ingxaki. Ingxaki ezala ezinye ingxaki nozala wengxaki. But I don't think it is the mother of ingxaki. I think ingxaki yethu leadership.
We're in a crisis.
Yes. I think as a country we are at the space where we have a leadership crisis.
Lenda ke sithi masifodeni namhlanje masithi siphuma apha siyoma ku voting line.
But people don't, the youth is not inspired. The youth is not inspired to go out and vote. And because I think also it has not been communicated and instilled in them the same way the older generation was really prepared for voting. Because remember, you had Soul City.
Yeah.
Wonge, where they would talk they will have episodes that are focused on.
Or something like that.
I think there
Yeah,
was.
no, Joe Mafela.
I think that's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, wonge.
Yeah.
So where they were Soul City was teaching about HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
Yeah, boy, yes. So you had in Anseka projects like
That were directed towards voter education.
Yes. So now I think they reached a point where they felt everyone knows. What they don't understand is that people die. COVID showed us. So the people you educated back then are no longer here. Now you need to have or be passionate about teaching people the importance of voting. The same way when you were going towards 94 or just after 94 towards the 99
you know,
elections.
I think Yakim Enya Indo is the fact that intentions mhlambe zahlukile from back then when you wanted to be placed into power. And so you felt a need to educate people about the necessity of practicing that right and voting.
Oh, yeah.
So you pushed and pushed for it because you wanted for them to place you in power. What value is it going to be for you to teach the people to vote when you can feel their frustration and you know why they are frustrated?
Keep them
you
in the
know
dark.
where you are messing up. So isn't it better to just keep them in the dark and not push them towards voting?
That's a great strategy.
Did you get what I'm
That's
saying?
a great
Why would you invest so much when we are all out here, all eletubati jonga? Because I'm two things. I'm saying makuvoto as a matter of urgency. Like, I don't even want to give anyone an opportunity to campaign. Two, I'm saying masingayini ukuyovota singayazi basivotela bani. Right? And xanthetha le nto ndithi, when we're going to vote, we listen to different campaigns, we read the manifestos and. However, ukhona moment xa kubalwa ivoti kuthiwe ANC is at 43%.
Yeah.
And ACDP is at 8%. So the ANC decides Jonga must be an ACDP and we're good. Yeah. We've got this. Collaborate on ACDP. And phone vote ACDP if is our collaborator nomdu that I don't want in power. So in the team now, can we have something in the act, electoral commission that says before we go, declarations must be made by each political party that should mnandi dingi vote extra, I am going to collaborate with so and so and so and so and so. So that mna xa ndiyovote UDM ndiyazazi uba ivote yam is not going to the party I do not want. Indirectly, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, there's I think that's a tragedy of all of this. The black vote. The black vote. The black vote is in crisis because you have a lot of people, a lot of black parties. The black vote is divided. You have so many parties. Uba unyathela uleletha kacela xolo ndiyaphuma ndiyoziqalela iparty. It's that crazy. So you don't have one board where you can say, okay, this is the alternative black people. Let's try and give these ones a chance and see what they implement in the next 5 years. What are we saying about ESCOM? Are we saying ESCOM imali? Economists will tell me if I'm in the right track. If we take this company, ESCOM, listed with JSE, invite public to buy shares, and that way we are funding all the state organs that we see that they are not working. We're not only resuscitating them by making sure that they have a budget, but we are also ensuring that the promise of the Freedom Charter that people will share in the wealth of the country is being realized, because all the proceeds, the profit that's going to come from that, the revenue, is going to go to us as citizens, the shareholders. If the post office, we closed so many post offices, which abantu rural bebencedwa nasezilalini kwakukho i-post offices. But now, xa ufika in different rural spaces here, ufika ezandawo zazi post office, ufika zingamabhodlo. They must go to town. If I'm in Motherwell, I had a post office, a NU9, I had a post office, a shopping center, which for me, both of them, as much as the zipper, it was not supposed to be the case because they needed to be a building that separates. Yes, but this building is owned. Yes, is owned by the government. You understand? So we need to still have post offices because we are using also a post for those needs. If you want to renew this, if you want to renew that, you must go to the post office. I second I say you understand? And it's not supposed to be like that. But if you say we have a crisis with post office because the money is not flowing through and whatnot, what you do, you list it as that public entity to invite the public to buy those shares, and then next thing you employ innovative young people who are going to come and see about, okay, we see a resource to our post office. How do we then take this and ensure that is as effective as possible? It does not only do the traditional things we know a post office of, but there are new products that are being introduced by a post office. We used to send packages to the post office. How do we then use a post office? The courier works 24 hours, because if a post office yako is working properly, it's going to feed into SAA because everyone trusts that the post office service is reliable. Therefore, bazawuthatha overnight is our border in flight.
That's going to take a huge marketing strategy because a lot of people have lost trust in the South African post office system.
Some people don't even know that it exists.
A lot of people have lost trust. Delivery on PEP, and that's that.
PEP and all this other.
We've lost trust in the
guy and whatnot.
All the state systems, abantu. People are not happy generally with the quality of leadership. But my worry is it does not reflect on the unhappiness. I reflect it too. We don't see it. Abantu be unhappy because at the end of the day, pinning an ANC.
Because
and somebody will say ANC is not the problem. Then what's the problem?
The people, us not voting. I'm not gonna say us voting for ANC. I'm gonna say us not voting.
And perhaps us not understanding that our power is there in practicing our vote and expressing our frustration through our vote. And I'm also saying, yes, continuously, Kutiwa, there's no black alternative. There's, you know what I mean? But can we not just make a decision? The people of South Africa went on Twitter to pledge war on clicks.
Yeah.
And everybody agreed.
Yes.
We pledged war on H&M. Everyone agreed. With just saying, not now, not to the ANC.
It's keyboard warriors, man.
Let's
They're gonna
move
speak
direction
online
and just agree on that.
If you have a country with keyboard warriors who only speak on social media and they are never involved when people are walking the streets, expressing their frustration, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have something that's trending at number one, that we are against this thing, but then it's not gonna be reflected on the streets because abanda benzinjala. And in leadership, is not as cute. If you can go back and check the people who were in leadership, even in terms of, I don't use formal education or Western education as a barometer of someone's astuteness, but then I would use it in this case and point. You had a Mandela who studied law. You had a remember the Craddock 4. Who was Matthew Goni. Yes, he was the principal of the school. When the political parties were banned by the apartheid regime, what he did, he created an alternative to organize the community. They created an organization which was a residence organization, a residence association. It was named, because Craddock, it was named Cradora, which was a Craddock Residence Association. So this is where they were able to mobilize a community. This is where the ANC took the model of street committees, that in each and every street you have people who are responsible for what is going on. So those people were astute. But now, how we elect leadership, someone over a loud hailer going around that we want youth from this age to that age to come through eholweni, chances of employment or forms will be distributed. They go
only
there
to make them more
because they keep going to as meetings until they become card-carrying members. So that person from the get-go did not go there because they had anything to contribute positively to society, but they were hungry. They were looking for a job.
So what's at play right now is the politics of the stammer. Is who feeds me. I go with who feeds me, and that's that. And my worry again is who does feed you? Because if they give you a slice of bread at a time, is that what you call being fed? Over and above being taught how to knead your own dough.
You see?
Do you get what I'm saying? And therefore be able to make your own bread. Who has fed you in that situation? The one who teaches you how to make bread, or the one who slice a sonka at a moment in time where you scream hunger and you are frustrated and grumpy already?
I want the process that goes to, to making of
what is true empowerment? What is our understanding of he who feeds me? I don't think we have clarity on that. And that's why when it comes to voting, Aspagami, Asenzi Nix, because also even the voter education that was there did not teach people about their power. It taught them about the importance of voting. And there's a clear difference there.
Yes.
Because the one who understands that I have power in my vote, I have something to say by voting, will go running to the polls. But the one who just gets it as it's a thing I must do, it's a responsibility I have, I need to make sure that I do vote, they go there and they do whatever with it. Do you get what I'm saying? At this point, I'm really thinking that we need to use popular culture for voter education. If films are not going to be given funding, like Yengu Kululekani, Kululekani, ne?
I'm not sure.
I'm remembering that there was Kululekani, the hip hop group, and then there was Kululekani. Yes, it was Kululekani or Kululeka, something like that.
Kululeka.
Something to that effect. That was government funded. It was IEC funds that made sure that happens. Oh my God, and so now that won't happen, as I say, because the intention I find. But remember also, we're not reliant only on, someone coming through and saying, about their power in voting. We now have the power in media to be able to say, voting is the thing. We need to make it cool now that you must vote. I remember at a point...
It's not a right, it's your power.
I remember at some point it is a particular political party that I'm not going to mention because my vote is my secret. And all... yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for the most part, really, one of my driving forces to wanting to vote for this particular party was how cool they looked in their regalia. So I always have an entourage, right? So yes, we need to create that kind of coolness over voting. The understanding that you've got power to vote. I don't want to be associated with anybody as a friend who says, I'm not going to vote. Because we are better, we're on part of load shedding, nguwe lo wenza results zaka-Matric ziphume late, nguwe lo who doesn't have a proper solution for gender-based violence, nguwe lo who's failing the legal and the court system when it comes to victims of gender-based violence, nguwe lo who's not giving land back to the people, nguwe who's causing this increased rate of unemployment. I feel like ngoku ndifuna ukublame personally yakhe ndithi andikufuna ecanga kwami because wena you're costing us.
It's too much.
Thina ungavotanga. You know what I'm saying? Thina ungavoti. It needs to be as bad as thina ungafikanga wena ephathini.
Immaturity.
Like, how dare you not come to so and so's wedding? How dare you not vote? Do you get what I'm saying?
Immaturity on another level is something else. But also, I think we as a country are very schizophrenic, and I'll keep on saying this thing because I remember Zuma. You saw white people coming out protesting. Kupatwa placards. Those ones were carrying bananas as placards. I don't know what that meant.
I think it spoke to being led by a monkey.
Oh, okay.
And to also being part of a banana republic as well. I think it must have been bordering on those two ideas.
Yeah, the Hitler signs.
Banana republic and monkey.
But then people went on the streets. They were disgruntled by a Zuma-led government. They went out. They did what they did. And then you have many people who are disgruntled by Ramaphosa. And then you had publications who were global, who were reporting on South Africa and talking about the economy, junk status. You have not heard. Look, many things have worsened. Load shedding has worsened. Unemployment rate shot through, and all of these things. But you have not heard all these entities that were ready to come and say, junk status. And Connor, what does junk status mean?
But who's writing about it? That's the thing. Who's putting it out there? How much of it is in the news? How frustrated we are? How dire our status is?
Who's talking about
Who's talking about all of this? Because remember, who runs the media? And when the narrative came out a lot about Zuma, we had to ask that question again. Who in whose hands is our media? And what is their intention? It's about not repetitive, but I always go back to intention, right? What's their intention? Every day we must hear about Uzuma. And then now when it's Ramaphosa, how much is there for us to hear out, to listen out, see
even the comedians?
Okay. Because kaloku see influence in media.
Even the comedians. I'm not saying anything. Every comic.
Because Kim, they look at what is in the news. What are the people hearing on a daily basis? Then they find the funny sweet spot they're in, right? So iyenzeka laa nto uba ngoku currently eyona ndizawuba zindaba uzawuva ii-comedians mhlawumbi sithetha ngayo ndiza kwenza just a random example yi-situation yasenyobeni. That's it. Do you understand what I'm saying? uRamaphosa siyamphoza xa kusenzeka inyoba. Yabona? Siyamanga uRamaphosa sibe busy nenyoba. Emva kwenyoba izawuphinda kubekho enye into eyenzekayo that seems to be more important than a failing state.
What happened to
and a failing state under a Ramaphosa. Kaloku la mama wathi nxese wapha inyobeni awukhumbula? Wangena eTV wathi nxese cela uxolo ndimorongo. Yaphela ke ngoku into yasenyobeni. Asikho lapho otherwise ndizama ukuthi
no, I'm just thinking about it. Like,
yes,
I get you.
I get you.
Like,
yes.
Umafe.
Kaloku zonke
arsonist.
What happened? The parliamentary arsonist. Yes. There's a lot of things that come to distract us from focusing on the real thing. And it makes you ask the one question I keep asking, in whose hands are the tools of the media? Who controls what is being said about what we know?
Power to define.
Do you get what I'm saying?
The power
and
to
so,
define in the hands of one man, it becomes a weapon of oppression.
Asizova nix ningoramarama because But satisfied, we will have to read our own books, do our own research, come up with our own conspiracy theories, try to convince those that don't give a damn for conspiracy theories to go and vote against this Ramarama, that there's nothing bad being said about him.
What happened to monkeypox?
What happened to COVID XBB 1.5?
I say politika.
Can I say politika monkeypox?
Like, I think we had enough, man.
Like Namdi Grand.
Like we had enough, man. Yeah, but like man.
Also, what happened to the vaccination campaigns? Also, why again XBB 1.5 usuke China?
What happened to the vaccines that expired?
What happened to 5G? Being the cause of everything.
I think we're at the crossroads.
Yeah.
More than anything, the 2024 elections are gonna be key.
Frustrated and it is 2024.
You can't decide that.
Because I announce about 2024 election in May, then they start to get up and do their things and go rebuild land be Chile and go give groceries to la mama unabazukulwana by 50 uzaba convince by 50 baniyambona uRamaphosa uyasebenza abantwana bami. Did you get what I'm saying? Then yonke lento bisenzeka for the past 4 years funeka siyilibala iyandifrustrate la.
Because now you can't double up, man. You can't give us load shedding and you also because the more you broadcast this XB, what's the name?
XBB. That was yes, cool. XB, cool. XA, go tata.
Yeah, well, when you give us this XB thing, the next thing you're gonna say to us is, "Stay at home. Don't do anything."
Oh, but the people, have we not agreed that we are not gonna stay at home? Asufumelana, guys.
Look, they're gonna have soldiers
Amacho
roaming our streets and killing us like they've done in Soweto when they killed that guy who was sitting in the yard.
But guys, masivumelane any man kodwa. Isn't it our state?
The main is leadership. You see what happened was the educated people back then, because the system did not allow them to work and occupy key position in corporate spaces, they fought for a transformation of a constitution or transformation of the country so that they can get into these corporate spaces. So now all our bright minds are just taken away. They don't move towards the political or governmental space because even when they get there, they get frustrated and they are unable to implement ideas. So for their sanity and growth and empowerment, they will go to corporate. Yes, in corporate, there are other things that they are going to face there. But we don't have people who are learned. You have abantu government institutions who say, "Mna ndizawunyuka ngestulo." You know what that means? So they have a policy, right? Where if you spend 5 years, for an example, in this department, your level in terms of
automatically.
So there are people who make sure that they do the bare minimum.
So you could be doing the same job but level yanyuka. You could be the reception clerk but imali yanyuka.
Yeah, because you've been here for 20 years, you're a receptionist, but the level of qualification. So there are people who are adamant that they will do that. Yasokolisa wena ufika lento lapha umsebenzi awugqitywa mntana uzakwenza lento kokoko. You get into a governmental department,
the mindset,
une energy wanting to come up with change, man. But uzawufika siphasi
ngochafisa ngabanye.
Awuleza mntanami uthini wenze zangaphi namhlanje? Okay.
I guess, London ithethayo yet again that besithetha ngela presidential economic stimulus that for me, it is very important to treat it like I would want my government to treat me.
Yes.
And sadly, I might be 1 out of 3 that has that mindset. I'm going to take this money and treat it exactly as I wish a government would treat me, deliver the services to the people. But the other 2 out of us, they couldn't give a damn.
I got them,
aba bayenza i-2/3 majority umzekelo bayayazi la system ihamba njani ifumana imali thenga ibhenzi hire a driver do this do that live a life fake report fake and that's it.
And there's no one coming down to check.
And so it means corruption is not it's not an issue of huge corporations and bodies like government and whatnot. It's also an individual mindset. I don't know why it's the individuals that teach, because I get frustrated with this notion where it's not the ANC that is wrong, it's the people in the ANC. Where the hell do you get off saying that to us? How stupid are we to lurch onto that theory? Because what forms the ANC if not the people that are in the ANC that keep voting for each other no matter how wrong or how corrupt they are? Did you get what I'm saying? Beast for the beast to keep growing on us, because the issue of corruption, I mean, I will keep saying it forever. I believe in running things like you run a normal household. If you're going to earn a salary and not pay the rent for your home or the levies or the rates, if you're going to do that, if you're going to buy lackluster quality food, right? If you're not going to pay the fees, if you're not going to spend time with your children, quality time, take them to the park, and that is a failed state in the making.
So if we could get to a point where we say, because it's depressing, and someone is watching it and they see this because they live through this every day. What hope do we have? I vote up a polling station. I think it's important to go back to communities. Go back to communities and be involved in and just, to resuscitate the principles that we have as African people.
Yeah.
A child is raised by a community. When you raise a child as a community, you give them the principles that every parent is your parent, right? And if every parent is your parent, then it is the duty of every parent to ensure that they safeguard and protect you as their own child. It is also a responsibility of every child to serve every parent that's out there. Xa behlika omama bethu bahamba ngebhasi neteksi. Xa behlika phaa stopping and they're carrying packages, the kids from the space, they should be able to assist in that manner. Xana ndingumzali, I see a child is lost, I don't pass that child. I speak to the child and try to understand what's going on and be able to recommend a solution for that thing. I think it needs us not to look at our environment and this space from the spectacles of the West. I think we need to be able to embrace our blackness and what it comes with, principles. And when we activate that and be able to act accordingly, we'll be able to do that. Ezi rapes zingenzi sense, statutory rape, noba uzawuthiwa ewe, they agreed to sleep with each other. But if ubungubhuti, you would not exploit umntana.